So I checked out weeks 14 through 16 just for playoff-minded Wolves. Those of you that are in first, second place, just know you might have a bye coming and just want the best playoff schedules for weeks 14 through 16. And for quarterbacks, that's looking like the Chargers. I'll go top 5 for each of these.
All right.
So quarterbacks, the top 5 easiest. And again, some of these teams won't even matter. It's like, who gives a shit that Miami's the 4th? But, Phillip Rivers with the Chargers, number 1. Oakland, Derek Carr has the 2nd easiest. The Giants, Miami, and Arizona round out 3, 4, and 5. So it doesn't really matter the bottom, 3, 4, and 5 there. Maybe Eli if you're desperate for a streamer, but I doubt you're in the fantasy playoffs if you're starting Eli anyways. So really that just kind of gives you some incentive if Phillip Rivers was dropped during his bye week or his owner's kind of fed up with his inconsistent performances, or Derek Carr, for example, on a bye week right now. Maybe you can kind of steal him away from the owner because he's resting this week, especially if you lost Deshaun Watson and were in top position in your league and want a guy that's going to blow up down the stretch run for you. I think Phillip Rivers and Derek Carr make some great targets there for the fantasy playoffs.
Well, those are my 2 quarterbacks actually in my hometown league.
Interesting. Yeah. So hopefully you make the playoffs. I know you've been kind of in dire straits.
I don't think I'm going to make it. I'm 4 and 5.
And we'll also talk about guys to target if you're in win now mode. I'm certainly in win now mode in my hometown league too. So we won't do just the playoffs. So that's how we're going to start with playoffs. We'll go into guys who have like the easiest rest of season schedules and easy cake matchups coming up that you might need as an owner. In terms of hard matchups though, for quarterbacks, Cleveland's 28. New England's 29, Seattle's 30, Cincy's 31, and Houston's 32. So when I look at that,
so you're saying I shouldn't roll Cody Kessler out for my fantasy playoffs?
I know your heart's probably devastated that Deshaun Kaiser, Cody Kessler, Kevin Hogan, whatever creature is behind
Tom Savage.
Cleveland. Yeah. Tom Savage, the worst playoff schedule. Man, I needed a reason to sit him, and now I have one. But, New England and Seattle, obviously you got Tom Brady, Russell Wilson there. So, again, you're not selling Tom Brady just because he has a tough playoff schedule, and you're not going, selling the farm for Russell Wilson to get rid of him. It's just something to keep in mind that these two have very tough schedules down the stretch. Maybe if you have a good backup to Brady or Wilson and you want to try to sell them at their peak right now, it wouldn't be a bad thing as a top seed if you could get those a good price, get a good running back or receiver for the stretch run if you sell those two at this point. But obviously if you have them and they're your main guys, you're not sitting them because they have tough matchups. Just something to consider for Russell Wilson and Tom Brady owners. And then Cincinnati, Andy Dalton, he's been kind of shitty even in good matchups. So this just kind of confirms he can be droppable at this point, especially if you're a playoff-minded owner.
What do you think of AJ Green getting the boot we're not getting suspended? I mean, speaking of Andy Dalton weapons, I love AJ Green. I kind of thought he probably should have gotten suspended for that.
100%, especially if Mike Evans, and I know Mike Evans didn't get ejected, so that's kind of been worked into it. But I thought what AJ Green did was far more egregious, slamming Jalen Ramsey to the ground like choke slam, throwing punches at his helmet. I loved it. I mean, I like the fire. But if you're telling me he shouldn't be suspended, I'd say no. Like, especially if Mike Evans is. Come on, I'm with you. He should not be playing this week. But hey, he's out there, so fantasy owners got to roll him out.